being a simple surgeon, they are calling me to talk about the media, which I probably will not like to talk about at all. Right? I have been interacting with media for quite some time. I was the director of Kidwai Cancer Institute before coming over here. So I had very good interactions with them. There are good people, there are bad people everywhere. And so calling the media only bad is unacceptable to me. Right? After all, you will become another day, tomorrow a media person, I will become media person, etc. So it is individuals who are making the media, and individuals have to be good or bad, then the media becomes bad or good. And so-called positive media, negative media is first of all unacceptable to me. People don't know that, and I am given a mic, I will only talk controversies. Meaning, we are talking about a media which is supportive of you, you call it as positive media, and if it is talking something ill about its negative media, then it's not correct. The media has to come out with what is right and what is appropriate, but what is there. Their business is to show what is there. If it is good, they are going to show good. If it is we are bad, they are going to show bad. Then you cannot tell something as positive media or negative media. Coming to the education sector, which I can talk for hours together. Thanks that question is not a googly for me, no? I'm from the education sector. So, the media playing a role of educational how to talk about multidisciplinary. In fact, I feel sincerely it is too high for them to even understand what is multidisciplinary approach for media, to understand what is the education system, what is going on. Because, I don't know how many of you know, you should be knowing as at least students, there is a new education policy 2020 was rolled out by the Government of India in 2020. That's called as, short form is NEP 2020, in which lot of reforms have come, particularly the multidisciplinary. That's why I'm coming to that, multidisciplinary, wherein the so-called interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary approach has to be there. For example, a doctor has to be talking to an engineer to get what is really required as an idea from me, and the engineer will be able to execute, for example, on a medtech facility. And that is what is the definition of what we are talking about, interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary approach. I gave example of mine, meaning medical, but it can be anything. Social studies people have to know science, and the science people should know maths. That is not what is happening today in the very puristic sense. For example, commerce people talk about commerce, arts people talk about arts, and science people talk about science. So to make everybody come together or interact together is what multidisciplinary approach is all about. And the main important thing in the NEP 2020 which we are talking about is the ease with which the individual or the student should do. It has to become student friendly, and it has to become student basic. That is, it should be centering around student, not centering around the studies. I don't know how many of you understand what I am talking. If you have taken a subject, and you should be allowed to do something else also, and that should be student friendly. And it is not that you have taken a subject and you are bored with that and you don't want to go back. All this stuff is not taken care of by NEP 2020. Having said about what is multidisciplinary NEP 2020, how the media has to play a role. First of all, we have to educate media, is it not so? The educationists have to educate the media, and we have to call them like this and tell them this is what multidisciplinary approach is, and this is what the education system, what is going on till 2020, and how the Government of India is moving towards the so-called new education policy. In the new education policy, one of the things is, for the students I am telling, exit and entry. At the end of 1 year, you can exit, for example. At the end of 1 year, you can exit by the end of 1 year with a certificate, although you are joined for a 3 years course. And at the end of 2 years, you can exit if you want to with a diploma. And at the end of 3 years, you complete to get the degree. And if you are planning to move forward to do the career system of, say, you want to do further higher education or to the research, yes, you can proceed to become a honors in the same thing. For example, BSc honors, it's 4 years. And after the 4 years BSc honors, only 1 year is required to do MSc, for example. So these things, I found it difficult to understand, being a medical man, to understand the education system. And now we are talking about the media to talk about it to the others. That means we are failing in our duty as educationists to first bring them to the stage, explain to them, and what they should tell and what probably they should propagate. That is our business. the education business, the institution business, and the policymakers business to make the media to understand and then propagate. We can't be sitting and crying foul when we are not done our job and saying that they are not doing their job. They are good at something and they are continuing to do the same thing. We can't be blaming them. Before blame game, we should know whether we are on the right side, whether we are doing appropriate things to them. I sincerely feel we have failed as human beings or institutions to educate ourselves and educate others. Unless you educate the media, you don't expect media to talk something more. It is like a commerce student being asked to talk about medicine. How can it be? You have to teach him medicine to talk medicine. So that is where I am coming. So we have to educate the media to make them understand and then give them the input to others. And secondly, the education system and the institutions are there. When we are all there as educationists and teachers and professors, etc., why should media come to help us and help you? You know better. Today you open, you have got a Google, you have got a website, you go and you see better and you can see much more things. If you are talking about the formal media, I feel they have got a very limited role. If you are talking about other forms of media, like social media, you talk about anything else, yes, you people are going to be bloggers, you put up, you are the media, is it not so? I don't know whether you understand my talking. They probably are talking about the visual media, they are talking about the print media, whereas I am telling the social media is who is doing it, it's you. You are doing it and you are getting educated, you put up and then you get a good blog, you will have followers, you will be seen, you will be shown. So you develop your own channel. I don't know how many of you know, you can have your own YouTube channel. You have your own channel. You do it. And social media is in your hands and asking and trying foul with somebody else over which we don't have a say. Instead, we should educate you to do and come out with the social media, puts more positive things, more positive information, and so that the next generation is benefited. I sincerely feel it is we who have to do, not ask somebody else to do the job. If we have to live, we have to eat, not somebody else.